guys, Josh from SoccerReviewsForYou.com, bringing you my review plus on-feet video of the Nike Hypervenom Phantom 2 in the latest green stripe and black colorway. Now inside the box, they do include a couple of extras to go along with the shoes. The first extra is this little tag right here. If you want to pause the video and read this tag, you absolutely can, but it essentially tells you that the graphic printed on the bottom of the shoe will wear off over time, but of course won't affect the performance. Something we'll talk about a little bit more later in the video. They of course include a string bag as well. The string bag is lime green in color with green strings. You have the Hypervenom branding there at the bottom, and then this cool graphic in black going across the entire front of the bag, while the back is solid green in color with a single black Nike swoosh at the bottom. Other than that, all you're going to find inside the box, as you guys can see, are the shoes themselves. So we'll get these guys out of the box really quickly, and we'll take a closer look at what is technically a Neymar-only colorway of the Hypervenom Phantom 2. It doesn't have his branding, it doesn't have his logo on the shoe at all, but it's a colorway of the Phantom 2 that at the moment he's wearing exclusively. So in today's video, we are of course going to take a closer look at the colorway itself, talk tech specs, take a look at the weight, as well as talk about how these things fit and feel. So if you are interested in learning more about the Phantom 2, please stick around and watch the entire video. If you're interested in a pair of these for yourself, click the very first link down below in the description of this video. That'll take you to the review page on my website, where you'll find buy it now links with exclusive SR4U coupon codes, where you'll be able to pick these guys up below their normal $275 retail price. So again, if you're interested in a pair, first link down below. And with that being said, let's get right into the review. All right, to start things off, let's take a closer look at the colorway. Now, like I mentioned earlier, this is a Neymar exclusive colorway at the moment, meaning that of all the professional players wearing Phantom 2s, he'll be the only one in this green stripe and black color combination, which I think looks really good. Out of all the brightly colored Hypervenom Phantom 2s we've seen so far, this is my personal favorite. Very simple, only two colors, and this particular shade of green I think just looks really, really sharp on the Phantom 2. So you have that lime green color for pretty much the entire upper, with of course that black graphic on top running through the lateral and medial side of the shoe. Solid black Nike swoosh on the front and back of the shoe as well. And then of course the collar, the middle of the shoe, as well as the laces, all the parts that are knitted are all solid green in color, with the mid layer of the Flyknit actually being black. So when it stretches out, you can actually see some of the black being revealed there. Same thing here across the top of the foot, which is kind of a neat little element. Black ring across the top. Inside is all black, as you guys can see. And then of course the sole plate is lime green in color with a black graphic printed on top. Now that graphic, the black part anyways, will wear off over time. So the more you wear them, the more that graphic will wear away. Again, it's not going to affect the performance of the shoe, but like I said, it is something that isn't going to last forever. Looks cool out of the box, but it won't necessarily look the same after a few weeks of use. With that being said, it doesn't wear off quite as quickly as you might expect. And if you guys want to see exactly how it wears, I have a video on my channel where I kind of show you what the shoe looks like after several weeks of use, or at least how the graphic looks. So if you want to check that out, I'll leave an annotation to that video on screen. Go ahead and watch it if you are at all interested. But that's pretty much it in terms of how these things look. Lime green and black in color, very simple, very bright. I personally like how they look, even though I'm not generally a fan of brightly colored shoes, but I'd be curious to hear your opinions down below in the comment section. Do you love how these look? Why or why not? And with that being said, let's move on to the tech specs so we can learn a little bit more about the overall performance. As far as performance is concerned, the Hypervenom Phantom 2 has some very unique characteristics about it that make it feel unlike anything else on the market at the moment. It features a Nike skin upper that, as you guys can see by the side profile, is very thin, but despite being so thin, it's very firm as well. So when you have it on your foot, it doesn't have that sensation of softness at all. It just feels like a thin, very firm kind of lockdown feel, and you have that across the entire foot. So in terms of responsiveness, that's really what this shoe has to offer. But of course, because it is on the thinner side and because it lacks padding, you're getting somewhat of a barefoot sensation on the ball as well. Now, along with that Nike skin upper, you have flywire cables that run from the base of the sole into the laces themselves, so right around the lace holes. So when you pull the laces tight, it pulls on these flywire cables that are located on both the lateral and medial side of the shoe, again helping to secure your foot on the base of the sole and preventing it from sliding around or moving at all, really, once you pull the laces tight and you're making those quick cuts and lateral changes of direction. So again, in terms of responsiveness and just having a nice lockdown feel across the entire foot, that's really the strength And main reason why you would want to buy a pair of Hypervenom Phantom 2s or just anything from the current Hypervenom lineup. The finish on the surface of the upper is Nike skin, so it's that thin layer of polyurethane and has some very minor texturing to it, but really no added grip. And then of course you do have the embossed lines as well, which look cool, but really do nothing in terms of adding to the overall feel that you get on the ball. And then of course ACC, all conditions control, is a feature like you'll find on all the top end models from Nike. So grip on the ball in wet weather playing conditions is actually pretty good. Has an off-centered lacing system with the laces being pushed slightly to the outside. The center portion where the tongue would normally be is made from elasticated Flyknit, just like the collar as well. Now this of course is the Phantom 2 that does feature the dynamic fit collar and just the mid-cut design in general, which changes up the fit and feel of the heel as well. If you want a more traditional layout, the Hypervenom finish is the way to go since it kind of has the exact same cut as the original Phantom model. But if you do want that mid-cut design, that's kind of what the Phantom 2 has on offer. It's an elasticated Flyknit collar, very similar to what you're going to find on the Superfly 4 and Magista Obra, with the major difference being that they move the seam kind of slightly to the medial side at the back of the shoe as opposed to directly down the center, which I find to be a little bit more comfortable personally, but not something that, like I said, is going to make or break your experience with any of the mid-cut models from Nike. It's there to provide more of a certain type of feel where it has a sock-like sensation. That's not necessarily the case here with the Phantom 2 because the rest of the upper isn't made from Flyknit like you'll find on the Obra as well as the Superfly. But what it does do is it gives the shoe a certain look, and it kind of makes it feel like it's flowing onto your foot as opposed to something that's being strapped to your foot, if that makes any sense. It does have an internal plastic heel counter, a synthetic leather liner on the inside of the heel. The insole is fully removable. It features a mesh liner on top, and it's made from a single layer of this ortholite foam. Nothing too fancy, but it does get the job done. And then moving on to the sole plate and stud pattern, it features a glass nylon sole plate that is pretty flexible, a little bit more flexible than what you're going to find from the Obra, but kind of similar in stiffness, if that makes any sense. You have that split toe design that honestly doesn't have anything to do or adds nothing to the overall feel and performance of this shoe. It's just one of those features that honestly you don't really notice while you're wearing the shoe at all. And then of course you do have the Hypervenom stud pattern. That's pretty much all conical studs apart from the bladed one in the middle of the forefoot and the one bladed kind of toe pick stud at the very edge of the sole. That do a good job of kind of giving you a little bit of extra grip that you wouldn't otherwise have. And the conical studs in general, because they are fairly narrow in profile, dig in quite nicely, provide really good bite, but because they're rounded in shape, you still have that ability and freedom to twist and turn and pivot when your foot is actually planted. So overall, it's a well-proven stud pattern at this point and works quite well on the Phantom 2. So that's pretty much it in terms of tech specs and what you should know regarding the performance of the Phantom 2. Has some pretty unique characteristics, certainly isn't for everybody, but if it does have what you're looking for, it's a very, very solid option. In terms of weight, the Hypervenom Phantom 2 is nice and light, and just to verify that, we're going to weigh this pair for you today in real time using this scale. So keep in mind this is a brand new pair in a size 9 US. We're going to throw it on the scale, and you can see that they weigh in at 7.55 ounces, the equivalent of 214 grams. So again, if you're looking for that lightweight feel, you're going to get it from the Phantom 2. Is it the lightest shoe on offer from Nike? The answer to that question is no. The Obra, the Superfly, as well as the Vapor 10 are a little bit lighter, and if you want to stay within the Hypervenom line, the finish is actually going to be a little bit lighter than the Phantom 2 as well. With that being said, the ½ ounce or so of extra weight that you're going to find with the Phantom 2 is not something that's going to make or break your experience with the shoe. Like I said, they still feel very light on your feet because they fit so well and have that kind of one-to-one sensation. They just feel much lighter than they actually are, and they're certainly not a pair of shoes that's going to weigh you down. So as long as protection isn't a big concern for you, you shouldn't have any issues with the weight of the Phantom 2. All right, so here is a look at the Hypervenom Phantom 2s on feet. On my left foot, I have the stock green laces that come with the shoes, and on my right foot, I have a pair of black reflective Junior SR4U replacement laces. Now, the reason why I put junior length laces as opposed to standard length ones in the Phantom 2s is because, as you guys can see by the laces on my left foot, the stock laces are a lot longer than they need to be. It's a lot of extra bulk on top of your foot that you can't really tuck away because of that mid-cut design. So the junior length lace eliminates a lot of that extra bulk, and obviously they still work very, very well. You just have, like I said, less extra lace on top of your foot, which I personally prefer. So if you do want to get some slightly shorter length laces for your Hypervenom Phantom 2s, I would strongly recommend the junior length SR4U replacement laces as opposed to the standard ones. But of course, if you want something that matches the length of the standard laces that come with the shoes, the standard length SR4U replacement laces will work too. So if you guys are interested in a pair of SR4U laces for yourself, the place to go is www.sr4ulaces.com. Find a direct link to that website down below in the description of this video. Now, in terms of how these things fit and feel on feet, the Phantom 2 has a very firm, kind of tight, responsive feel on your foot. When you slide them on, you're immediately going to notice that the upper is very thin and more rigid than you perhaps might expect it to be. If you're looking for that sensation of softness, you're not going to get it here whatsoever. Once you get used to the more firm sensation of the upper, they are quite comfortable though, and I really do appreciate the locked-in sensation that they provide when you pull those laces tight. Of course, this is a mid-cut model from Nike, so it does have a slightly unusual fit and feel in the heel. If you've worn the Superfly 4 or the Magista Obra before, it's going to feel very similar in that particular area of the shoe, but if you haven't worn it before, it's going to feel a little bit unusual. It takes some getting used to, but once you do get used to it, it is actually quite comfortable. In regards to the fit, width-wise, they're going to be suitable for most people. They're not going to stretch whatsoever. The way they fit from right out of the box is the way they're going to fit for their entire lifespan. But again, keep in mind it is a tighter fitting shoe, so if you don't like that type of feel, probably not the best option. And if you do have extremely wide feet, again, you may want to look elsewhere. In regards to sizing, I'm wearing my usual size 9 US here, and the fit and the length is absolutely perfect. So if you are looking to order a pair of these for yourself, I would strongly recommend going true to size in order to achieve the best possible fit. Alright guys, that is it for my review of the Green Strike Nike Hypervenom Phantom 2. Again, if you guys are looking for more information on this particular shoe, be sure to check out the review page on my website. That'll be the very first link down below in the description of this video. On that page, you'll find high quality images of this exact pair, as well as buy it now links with exclusive SR4U coupon codes where you'll be able to pick these guys up below their normal $275 retail price. So again, if you're interested in a pair, first link down below, go ahead and check it out. If you have any questions regarding this particular shoe at all, leave them down below in the comment section. I definitely will get an answer out to you. If you enjoyed today's video, found it helpful and informative, be sure to support it with a like. Subscribe if you haven't already for daily videos on all the latest and greatest soccer gear. You can find all my social media information down below in the description as well. And other than that, guys, hope you enjoyed today's video. And as always, thanks for watching.